Okay, I'd like to call to order the August 28th, 2024 meeting of the City Attorney Performance Evaluation and Salary Review Committee. Now the clerk has stepped away for a moment, but the meeting is being recorded so she can get anything that she misses and will note the attendance for the record. The first order of business will be public comment. Eric, do we have anyone wishing to make public comment?
We currently have no one in the waiting room for public comment, Vice Mayor.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. The next order of business is the approval of the minutes from the July 1, 2024 meeting. Could I have a motion to approve those, please?
Move for approval.
Motion by Commissioner Reynolds, support by Commissioner Morris. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That was Reynolds made the motion and Morris supported the approval of the minutes. The first order of business, I guess, is the discussion of the retiree stipend. And I'd like to turn it over to Rebecca and Michelle to discuss that, if I could, please.
Sure, I'll go ahead and start, and then we'll do a little tag teaming. So prior to Jill leaving, retiring from the city, she had made a request to reconsider a current policy that we have regarding retiree health care. Currently, right now, non-reps, when they retire from the city, they are eligible to receive a $200 a month stipend if they take the city's retiree health plan. Jill determined that she was not going to take the city's retiree health plan. She was going to take her husband's health plan in retirement, but wanted to still receive the $200 stipend. So she made that request of myself and Michelle, and we are advancing it to the commission because ultimately the commission needs to authorize that through a letter of understanding that has been drafted by the labor attorney. And I can have Michelle talk through the LOU. She could even share her screen with it, kind of what the components were. As an appointee, the commission certainly does have the option of granting something that, isn't given to other employees. Based on the nature of the position, but it still would need commission's approval to advance, because the $200 stipend then would be, for a lifetime, even if once she reaches the Medicare age and she goes into a Medicare plan. Now that's out of really my wheelhouse. Michelle really knows all of those details, and then I think it would be good for her to just share what she and Brandon talked through.
Do you have any questions before I do share my screen, which is really the letter of understanding that's been drafted? Okay, I'll go ahead and share.
Thank you, Michelle.
Maybe. There we go. Okay. Are you seeing letter of agreement, post-employment retirement benefit?
Yes. Can you make it a little bigger?
I certainly can. There's really only 5 points listed here. Should the commission agree to approve this stipend, it would be done so by resolution that would allow Rebecca to sign this letter of understanding. So it would state that at time of retirement, the city would agree to provide Steele a retirement health care stipend in the amount of $200 per month. Number 2 would be that we would pay it as an annualized figure in the amount of $2,400 payable in January of each year. It would be for the duration of her retirement and not pass on to any dependents listed on her insurance. And it will result in an issuance of a 1099 to her. So it's very simple and straightforward. And then it has a signature section for Rebecca and Jill to sign.
Move for approval.
Okay, so I believe that was Commissioner Reynolds moved to approve this and move this forward. Is there support?
Support.
Okay, so support by Commissioner Morris. Is there any other discussion about? And so Rebecca, and I know you and I have had this conversation, this is not unprecedented, is that correct? I mean, this may be something different than we've done, but for other appointees, we have made, there've been carve-outs and special accommodations made.
You are correct, Vice Mayor. As we look back, there have been carve-outs for both city manager and city attorney positions at time of retirement or at time of separation, I should say. So, right, we just haven't had this specific request before.
Okay,
But yes, you are correct.
all right.
So I'll be the bad guy. I am not in favor of this, regardless of how many precedents we have to this. I don't think it's fair to bind the city future on entitlements and obligations for former employees. If she wants to opt in, she's entitled to what she receives. I have no problem with that. Now, alternatively, if she's willing to name the city as a primary beneficiary on a life insurance policy, if she's willing to take one out, and the city's the primary beneficiary on this, I'm happy to do that. $500,000, I think would probably be good. I just don't think this is a good thing, and I can't support it. I won't support it.
I wanted to ask, can anybody speak to the liability of us doing this specifically for Ms. Jill?
Well, I guess let me just say, from a liability perspective, certainly it becomes a liability on the city's financial statements, part of our other post-employment benefits or OPEB. It's not that we don't already have the liability, because any non-represented employee that retires from the city is eligible for this benefit. So we actually, and Michelle can confirm this, we looked at it for all non-reps. You know, does it make sense for us to look that in totality? Because, you know, it is hard to stand in front of the commission and ask a carve out for one employee, and not have done the evaluation of if you did it for all non-reps. Certainly when we did that, then, you know, without doing an official actuarial, it really did increase our OPEB liability to a point that we would technically not be compliant with state legislature about how much we can pay towards OPEB, healthcare, retirement, and our funding level. So, you know, we had to submit a corrective action plan to the state of Michigan because our pension funded ratio and our OPEB liability were not within what they say it needed to be. We are no longer in that position, but if we allowed all of our non-reps to do this, that would certainly put us in that position. This would be for her lifetime. So if you take a look at the mortality table for Ms. Jill, as you said, I guess it could reach that amount that Commissioner Lance was saying in reference to a life insurance policy. But it does then become a liability on our books for that duration from the time it starts. And it can be retroactive. If the commission does approve it, it can be retroactive to the time she retired and then going forward. Did that answer your question, Commissioner?
Yes, and that makes me wonder, is this something that we need to make a decision on in this meeting?
No, normally what we would do is we'd look for a recommendation from this committee to move forward to the full commission. Or it would just be placed on an agenda for consideration.
Michelle, can you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, it's difficult. Thank you.
Sure.
I can't see everybody.
If I may also make a
So-
clarifying point, Vice Mayor, from a cost basis, as Rebecca indicated, non-reps are currently afforded this benefit. So and non-rep retiring tomorrow with a benefit immediately payable if they're staying on the city's retiree health insurance, they will also receive a benefit of $2,400 in the form of a reduction of invoicing for their retiree health. So one of the other things to consider is by paying this stipend to Jill Steele, we are actually going to avoid some of the risk and holding her on our city benefits and therefore paying self-funded if there was a large claim in the future, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just something to be aware of. The process is right now that if an individual non-resident or otherwise leaves the city's retiree health and goes on a spouse's plan or equivalent, they're not allowed to come back once they waive or opt out of the city's benefits. So that's another difference here. I just want to make sure you had all of that information for you as well.
Well, and this hasn't always been the city's practice. It's my understanding that right before I came on, that decision was made to take on a $200 stipend for retirees for non-reps, but also then making it mandatory for employees to contribute a percentage to a retiree health savings account. This all came about when the state started to tell us what we can and how much we can and cannot pay out, and then what that liability looks like. When we did the legacy cost committee, we looked at all of that and what it looked like from a liability perspective before we instituted the retiree health savings account and the $200 stipend versus what we were doing before. It certainly did reduce our liability a great deal. And then also, requiring the contribution to the retiree health savings plan, hoping that that would assist to make up whatever difference there is between the stipend and what it costs to be on the city's plan.
Are there any other questions? Comments? Any further discussion before we vote on moving this? And it would be, so a vote in favor does not automatically equate to the granting of this stipend. It moves it to the full commission for consideration by all 9.
That's correct, Vice
Okay.
Mayor.
So I do have a question before we move forward. So Rebecca, you're saying that this is something that is new. This is something that we have not done in the past.
Let me just clarify.
Okay.
We've never, to date, we have not allowed an employee to take the $200 stipend if they did not select the city's retiree healthcare plan. So we haven't had that scenario. Have we had carve-outs of other things for appointed officials? Yes, we have. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it does. So would that be appropriate? Would that be legal? I mean, to go ahead and give the stipend if she's not taking the benefits? I mean,
Well, it would have to be approved by the commission for it to be, acceptable, or I don't know if legal is the right word. Sorry, Bill. I don't want to be an attorney and but
Mhm.
in order to go outside of our current policy and practice, which was approved by the commission would have to say, okay, we're willing to do this for our retiree Jill Steele.
And it was brought in the form of a letter of understanding as kind of a post-employment contract because she is city appointed, approved by commission under an employment contract. That's why it would come back in front of the commission for their approval.
I don't know
Mhm.
how I'm feeling about this yet. I think I need a little bit more information, but I would be
I do
willing
too.
to support recommending it for the whole commission to look at.
I'm going to agree with Commissioner Morris. I'm just not clear and I guess I just need something in front of me maybe to make it clearer for understanding.
Okay.
we certainly can do that. You have a motion and a support on the floor, so you probably would want to do that, and you are correct, Vice Mayor. This would just be a yes or a no, moving it to the commission for a full commission discussion.
So then, I guess the next question that I have, because either Commissioner Morris could withdraw her support, or Commissioner Reynolds could withdraw her motion to move this forward, if I'm recalling my parliamentary procedure correctly. And we could delay making a decision on moving this forward as well.
So what
If-
you're saying, Vice Mayor, is you're wanting us to have a recommendation to the board before it's presented?
Well, not necessarily.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily advocating one way or the other, but understanding that more information is needed,
Mhm.
and with the belief that it would likely go on the agenda. Let me look at my calendar for September 3rd,
Well,
which
that's the
is,
that we're working on right now.
that's
That
the
will be
agenda.
published tomorrow. I would ask respectfully if we could postpone it till the 17th, so that we would have time, Michelle and I would have time to work with Brandon and Bill on resolution language. Because we're reviewing the agenda right now, and I don't want it to be so rushed. I want to do it, make sure that we get, like Commissioner Reynolds said, make sure that you have a document in front of you that kind of lays this all out for consideration and discussion.
Well, may I make a suggestion? Since this can be retroactive or whatever we want to do it, then what is the rush? Here's what I think we need. I'd like to know, at least I personally would like to know, every person that has had some sort of carve out, what that carve out is, when did that end? Is it still ongoing? When did it start, et cetera, circumstances. I'd also like to know a better explanation, because you guys are talking about all these benefits and stuff, and I'll be honest with you, it's white noise to me. I don't understand what you guys are talking about. So can you at least dumb it down for me to give me the pros and cons of this? The third thing I would like to know is, could have Jill negotiated this $200 item as part of her retirement package in the first place? So those are the things I guess I would like to know. I would support a motion to table this thing until our next committee meeting, before we present something to the full commission, and more importantly to our lovely citizens who are undoubtedly going to love this thing.
Yeah.
So that's my speech, and if somebody would support my motion to table this to the next time we have a meeting.
I will support that.
Okay, but we already, not to be,
Yeah,
we are,
so I can withdraw my support from the
Oh.
previous.
And I will withdraw mine as well.
okay, all right. So I think parliamentarily, we are where we need to be. So then Commissioner Lance has made a motion
To
to
postpone,
get,
well, you said table, but do you mean postpone until the next committee date?
That would be great, to postpone to the next committee date.
postpone until the next committee meeting, and to try and gather additional information in the interim. And I believe Commissioner Reynolds, you indicated a support of that.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so if that is the motion that's before us, that is what we're going to be voting on. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So we are postponing, is that the right word, Rebecca?
Yep.
We're postponing this consideration until the next meeting. All right. Then the next item on our agenda is review of performance evaluation criteria. Bill, welcome aboard. You've been here
you,
with
Vice
us
Mayor.
for almost a month.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, Commissioners.
So we took what Jill's goals had been, and those items on which we evaluate her. Everyone on the commission got a copy of those. I did not get any feedback from any of the other commissioners as to changes or anything like that they would want to have made to this list. So I guess I'll open this up to you first. Bill, you've had a chance to review this. What are
Yes.
your thoughts on kind of what we've laid out?
In this case, I really don't have much in the way of comments at all. I mean, they all seem to me to be fairly understandable. I think I'm getting a good sense of what your expectations are as a commission, and what kind of you'd like to see. So I guess I don't know if there were areas in which you were particularly, I guess that you were particularly interested in or wanted to highlight, but in total, it looked pretty understandable to me, I guess.
Okay. Glad to hear that. So then I would open it up to the committee for further discussion. And again, what we approve today will go to the full commission because the commission as a body has to approve those goals. Any commission or committee discussion? And if there is none, I would entertain a motion to move the goals for Mr. Kim and the city attorney to the city commission, the full city commission for consideration.
So move.
Motion
Support.
by Commissioner Morris, support by Commissioner Reynolds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, so we have your goals and the things upon which you will be evaluated. I'm glad that you are getting comfortable and recognizing the what we're expecting from the city attorney and how we would like to proceed. Is there any other business to come before the committee?
Just a clarification, Vice Mayor, about which meeting that you'd like the attorney's evaluation criteria. Is it acceptable to hold until the 17th?
It is acceptable.
Bill, are you okay with that? Okay.
Yep, that sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Any other business? Seeing no other business to come before the committee, we are adjourned. Thank you all for being here today.
Have a nice holiday, everyone.
Thank